Let's discuss Neptune. What is Neptune all about in astrology? Well, Neptune is the planet of illusions and delusions, but it's also about imagination. This planet corresponds, I think, to the Greek myth of Poseidon, the god of the sea. This planet is very blue, very ethereal in nature, and it deals with mermaid energy. So Neptune rules over things like film, cinema, all those kinds of things like that. It rules over anything that you can get lost in, anything that you can be in the present reality and look into another reality and think that what you're seeing is real, but actually it's not real. When you see movies, violent fighting, or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or Mary Poppins, or things like that, they all look very real. Now the thing about Neptune is it also rules things like drugs and alcohol. So it rules things that are unhealthy to escape into, because drugs and alcohol are taken when we feel depressed and when we want to escape and when we don't want to deal with our current emotional circumstances, as dire and as challenging and as unbearable as they are. So we seek to move to a higher vibration, and we seek the highs that smoking and drinking give us. But we can also get those same feelings through dancing, through singing, through listening to classical music, through painting a painting, because those are also things that Neptune rules. Neptune rules pipe dreams, if you will. I mean, it rules the larger vision that you have for your life. The vision that I want to create something. I have this dream. I have this fantasy that I have come up with. And so those particular things are Neptune's domain. Neptune rules what is not real and what you may not see, or what is in your imagination that hasn't happened yet. It also rules over your unconscious mind, rules over things that are not things that we might be aware of, but down below the surface in our subconscious. It deals with the blind spot that we may not see. It also deals with transcendence and connecting on a spiritual level to higher consciousness. Neptune rules over fifth dimensional reality. When spiritual teachers and people in the spiritual community discuss fifth dimension, living in the fifth dimension, and moving beyond the three-dimensional reality, that is. Ways of getting there is raising your frequency. Ways of getting there is doing something that brings you inner peace. Neptune deals with fluidity. It deals with the waters that have no boundaries. It deals with the fact that we are all infinitely and divinely connected to everyone and everything in a spiritual communion. Neptune has no boundaries. That's why Neptune energy is related to flooding. So when there's a lot of Neptune, Pisces, Jupiter energy, just like the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction we had in April of 2022, there was a lot of flooding. And so the other thing that Neptune corresponds to is the immaterial, the intangible. At best, if you're using Neptune energy at the highest level, you are connected with your higher self, and you're connected on a very deep soul level with your intuition that goes beyond logic. That you direct your life in a way where you trust the universe, in a way where you just know in your body what feels right, where to go, where not to go. And Neptune also deals with living in a spiritual way for the highest good of all. It also deals with empathy. Things like empathy, where we really feel into how other people are feeling. It corresponds to unconditional love and compassion that we feel for others, that their pain is our pain, their success is our success. We really feel into how others are feeling. What else can I say about Neptune? It corresponds to altered states of being. You know, when you meditate, you are not just doing it to calm down your mind, to be present, but through meditation, you connect with the divine. Through meditation, you turn on your ears and senses that may get put down when your eyes are activated because they're closed. You're more tuned to your breath. Neptune rules a connection that you have with your higher power. That connection that is very, very, very potent, that we have a faith to look up to. Not necessarily religions with a doctrine and a set of rules, but our own spiritual truth. It rules things like oracle cards, where we get wisdom and guidance through pictures. What else does Neptune rule? Well, it rules over deception. As I said, it's a foggy energy where we may not see things clearly, where we may not be discerning in terms of the target or the focus that we want to go to, where we're vague. What else does Neptune correspond to? Well, it really, really corresponds to the paradigm shift that we are all in right now, that we're moving out of the age of Pisces and into the age of Aquarius. But we are becoming more together, understanding our connection to each other, and loving each other, accepting each other as whoever we are. More people are choosing a spiritual path, starting a spiritual journey, and tapping into all the gifts and all the wisdom that Neptune has to provide.